So I think some of us are more risk adverse than others. Like for example, for me, when I first heard about minimalism, it literally took one podcast and I was just sold. I'm like, I'm in, get the boxes, load up the van. Like, I think this is exactly what we need and I'm just gonna try it out. But I'm learning that not everybody works that same way. And for some of us, well, or some of you actually want to try it out before you just jump all in. So today, let's talk about 5 ways you can test drive minimalism to find out if it's for you or not. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom. My family and I have been living as minimalists for about 6 years now, and it's tough because I just think it's the best thing that ever happened to our family. I mean, short of like, I don't know, our faith beliefs and getting married, having kids, I really look back now and see how significantly minimalism has impacted our lives. Even just today, I just got home from bringing Corbin to the dentist. All of the kids were playing hide and go seek, and so he was hiding under Tom's desk and then was coming out, and Tom's desk chair has like a metal bar that runs around the front, and he hit his front tooth on it and chipped it off. And so it was just kind of one of those, drop everything, call the dentist, go get it fixed. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. The dentist said he was able to repair it fine. It is an adult tooth, but he doesn't expect him to have any more problems with it. And what's so cool, I do want to talk about these 5 things, but what was really cool about it was that this was, I think, literally the first time that my first reaction wasn't that stomach dropping of, oh, but now we have to pay for that, right? Or where's the money gonna come from to pay for that? And I was able to stop what I was doing. The beginning of the week is always my busiest time to try and get as much done, and I just was able to stop what I was doing, put it on hold, take him, we went to the dollar store afterwards and got some stuff for his Halloween costume, and we were able just to have that time together, and then I could come back and jump into things. And so I think it's sometimes hard to articulate all of the benefits of minimalism because it shows up in so many different ways. And so today I just want to talk about 5 ways you can try this thing out to see if it's for you. So the first thing that we can do is to clear off all of our counters. So our kitchen counters as well as our bathroom counters. And the benefit we get to experience through this is visual simplicity. So I know the pushback is generally like, oh, you want me to pull out my coffee maker every time I use it, or my Vitamix? Do you know how heavy that is? Let alone a stand mixer, right? And so I have found places, even though our kitchen is very small, I have found places for my Instant Pot, my stand mixer, my Vitamix. The only thing that we leave sitting out on a regular basis is our little Keurig coffee pot. So we do leave that out because it gets used all throughout the day. And it's little. So I don't worry too much about that. But otherwise, I don't think any of us put enough value on visual simplicity. There was a really interesting study where they took both men and women and they showed them a cluttered space in their home and then, tracked the brain activity. And they actually found that it was more stressful to women to see the clutter than to men. And this surprised me because I've talked about this before, but usually it seems like Tom is one that's more impacted by clutter. Like it kind of raises his anxiety and his stress level a little bit. So I kind of thought maybe because usually guys are more visual that it bothered them more. But it's actually the women. And what they found is that it stressed out the women more because for most of us, we're the ones that are responsible for that mess. We're the ones that, by and large, it's not always this way, but that we kind of have to take care of picking this stuff up and taking care of the stuff that's inside the house. And so I know for a fact now that most of us do not take into account the stress that the stuff around us is causing. And by doing this simple act of clearing your kitchen counters and your bathroom counters, you'll get to test out for a little bit and see if that visual simplicity and experiencing that extra breathing room of space around you, if you feel like that really does start to reduce your stress level and especially feelings of anxiety too while you're at home. And so I have yet to hear a person, and maybe they just haven't said anything, but who has cleared off their kitchen counters and then said, no, I want all that stuff back on them again. I mean, truly, if anything, I hear questions like, okay, how can I get the knife block off my counter? Okay, where can I put this? And you get to decide what's best for you. If you want to leave out, one thing that's decorative, or you really like your utensil caddy, that's totally fine. You do you, but go as far as you possibly can and just try it out and see if other people in your household don't really love it too. So the next best place to start is with your wardrobe. And so I did this video on simplifying your wardrobe not too long ago, but the benefit we get to experience with this is limited decision making. There is something magical that happens when you open your closet doors and everything in there is an option, a legit option for something that you have to wear today. Even like when I had to get dressed to go to the dentist today, like I still had just like leggings and a sweatshirt on. And so I just went in, put on a quick outfit, wasn't a big deal, and we were out the door. And so to literally look at your closet and see everything as a potential option of what you have to wear today, it feels so good. And so I do have that whole video about how you can pare down your wardrobe and do it safely. Like you don't have to get rid of anything right away. You can put it in quarantine. You don't have to worry about that. But if you find yourself hesitant or like it's not quite working for you, usually that's because you don't actually have enough options of clothes that fit right now. And so we keep all the extra stuff around us, the stuff that doesn't really fit, that we don't really like wearing, because that gives us this like false sense of security that we actually have enough to wear. But if this is difficult for you, it's probably that even though you have a ton of clothing, you don't actually have a lot to wear. So this is awesome though, because as you go through this process, you'll get to realize where are these gaps, and then you can intentionally fill them in. And usually it only takes like a handful of pieces. We're not talking about going and spending thousands of dollars, but if you need to buy a couple tops that fit nicely or one new pair of pants, it's gonna feel so good to get rid of all of the rest and just introduce those and have a wardrobe where you do not have to think when you're getting dressed. It's literally, okay, I'm gonna wear that top, these bottoms, everything fits. I like to make it so like any top basically goes with any bottoms, but I mean, you do what you wanna do. I don't do a capsule wardrobe, that stressed me out. It's just literally, everything in my closet fits, everything's an option. So I think that's an awesome place to test drive minimalism to see if it'll be a good fit for you. All right, so back to the kitchen. Now, another great place is to simplify your dishes, the dishes that you use every day, your plates, your bowls, your cups. And so by highly simplifying all of your dishes, it makes it so you do not have piles anymore. And so with very little dishes, pots, pans, and those, it is almost physically impossible for us to get a big stack of dishes next to the sink because they need to be used for the next meal again. And so we can't do that thing anymore where, yeah, there's dishes that need to be done, but we just keep pulling more stuff out of the cabinet, right? It has to be done after every meal. And for some of us, you're like, oh, that doesn't actually make sense. That's just gonna make it so I have to do dishes all the time. Yes, it is, but you are gonna love that you don't have piles anymore. Similar with simplifying your wardrobe. You could take my whole wardrobe and pile it up on my bedroom floor, and it's not even actually gonna look like that much because it isn't that much, right? But I don't do that because I need those clothes. If all my stuff is piled up on the floor, I don't have anything to wear today, right? And so it's amazing how limiting this inventory, you would think that it would feel restrictive or like, you know, it's creating more work for yourself. But I think you're gonna find that you love it. You love the accountability that's built in, that yes, we do have to wash the dishes after every meal. But do you know how good it feels when all the dishes are done after every meal? When they fit so easily in the cupboard and they're just put back away. It's not even a big deal. 1 week in, you won't even think twice about washing your coffee cup or rinsing it out after you use it in the morning. It's just, you just get into this groove. And then if you were ever to go back, like, so one time Tom pulled our extra dishes out of the basement. So then they were kind of out for a little while after I got back home. I was gone for a week. And so he pulled them out because he didn't want to have to do dishes all the time, right? Which is fine. The rule is that whoever does the dishes gets to choose how many dishes. So, but they were back out in rotation for a little while then. And I was so annoyed that there was always stacks of dishes next to the sink again. And so it does take a little bit of getting used to. People in your family, your household might push back a bit against it. But again, this is a test drive thing. It's a trial thing, right? So I think if you try it out for a little bit, you're gonna think it's magical too. And you are not gonna wanna go back to how things were before. You know, even with Corbin's tooth, I really hope that didn't come off as bragging. That is not my intention at all. But I feel like minimalism has helped bring clarity to knowing the things we can change and the things that we can't. So the serenity prayer, right? Can I keep Corbin from chipping his tooth? Of course not. But can we be in a place where we have the finances to dedicate to it and where I have a flexible schedule? Yeah, we can. Even just a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought it was possible to have as much flexibility as I do now. I thought when we moved here, I agreed to take on, more of a responsibility with our income. And so I just thought that's how it was gonna be for the next, 30 years, right? And so again, simplifying has just made it possible where we can have a little more creativity and think outside of the box and just have a clearer, better idea of the things we can control and the things that we can't. Okay, number 3 of how we can test drive minimalism is to highly simplify one room in your house. Just one room. Try taking it down to like the bare bones. Like if you're gonna do your dining room, not even having something on the table. Like, I mean, even a tablecloth, that might be pushing it. I don't know. Which, by the way, I always get asked where this one is from. It's from Marshall's 4 years ago. It's an indoor-outdoor one. So it's lasted a very long time because it's very forgiving when stuff gets spilled. But that's where it's from. I'm sorry, I don't think it's there anymore. But take it down, like highly simplified. If you have small furniture that you can move easily, I would take that out too. Take out anything extra. For a while, when we had our old living room furniture, we didn't even have end tables. And all the time people were like, how do you not have end tables? Where do you set your tea? And I'm like, I don't drink tea in there. So we like literally did not need them. So look at it through the lens of only having in there what you need for that room to serve its purpose, but nothing extra. So our old living room didn't need end tables, so I didn't put them in there just because it's culturally expected. Same with your dining room. You don't have to have a centerpiece, right? This room will still function as a dining room even without it. And so strip down one room in your house and just see what it feels like. Do you know what I think you might find is that people in your house gravitate to that room, and you'll probably find them just sitting in there, because we live in a very busy and chaotic world, and there's not a lot of places that we can go to get a reprieve from that. I mean, think about it. How many places do you have where you can go and just get away? I think that's why sometimes we end up sitting in our car in the garage for a while, right? Because it's just like, it's the only place we can get some peace and quiet. Wouldn't it be cool if you had lots of places in your house like that too? It's awesome. And I know we don't often think of it that way, but making your house into a retreat, what's the word? A haven, it's invaluable. And once you do it, I think everyone in your household is gonna agree that it's awesome, and they'll wanna try that in other rooms too. Okay, so that was actually the 4th way. I'm a little off on my numbers. 5th and final way is, if you have kids in your home or grandkids, is to simplify the toys. And so again, the same thing of visual simplicity and fewer decisions to make. We think kids need a lot of toys to be happy. Marketing tells us that. The toy industry spends billions of dollars telling us as parents and caregivers and grandparents that toys make kids happy. I mean, you see their faces light up when they open them, and a lot of times it's deceiving when we give toys as gifts, because it seems like they're so excited when they get it and it's everything they've ever wanted. But what you don't see is a week later when that toy is tossed to the side and they're not playing with it anymore. And now the parents have to figure out how to get it out of our house, right? And so I know it's so fun giving kids toys, isn't it? Like, I even realize this now, like having nieces and nephews. Like, I wanna be cool Aunt Dawn, right? Like, I wanna bring them cool things. I want them to like me. But there are other ways to make kids like us, like building up their self-esteem, spending time with them, teaching them things, doing activities with them. I mean, get a craft project and do it with them, bake cookies with them, and you are gonna endear them to you just as much as by giving them stuff. And so it takes a little bit of time. I have lots of videos on simplifying toys, but the best way to do it is to just box up all the extras, quarantine them, set them aside for a while to see if anybody misses them. I don't know, this is another area where I never hear of parents pulling all the toys back out. Everybody likes the toys simplified. And so I think you're gonna find that once you do that, the kids are really gonna like it, and you're gonna like it too. All right, speaking of kids, they're trying to get back inside right now. Here's Corbin, is your tooth feeling better now?
Yeah.
Can you smile and show? Okay, just trying. Which one was, oh, Adeline's helping, okay. Which one was it, buddy? Yeah. It looks a lot better. Does it feel okay now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I know this isn't easy. I know this can be hard work, and sometimes it's easier to make excuses and say, well, I don't even know if we would really like it, or that's too extreme for me. But I think we're more alike than different, and I think we all do really well in simplified spaces. We can think better, breathe better, process better, and we're just better human beings when we're not so stressed out. And so I do think these would be some great places to try it out. And again, if anyone in your household maybe not super excited about it, you can just tell them like, oh, I'm just doing an experiment. I'm just gonna try it out. I'm not getting rid of anything yet. I'm just putting it away or packing it away to see if we'll miss it. But I don't know, I'd be curious how it goes. If you've done some of these things, will you please share down below? It's so inspiring to others who are newer or just starting this journey to read what other people are experiencing, because sometimes they think, oh, well, of course Dawn can do that or whatever. I'm not that weird. Like, I think I'm more like you than not. But if you share your experiences too, it's really helpful. And we'd love it if you'd subscribe so that we can spend more time together. A thumbs up is the best compliment that you can give us. And I will definitely look forward to seeing you again soon.